Imagine this. You've spent weeks planning the perfect wilderness camping trip. You've driven hours to reach your dream spot. You've set up your campsite with an incredible view, and you're just about to relax with your first cup of coffee. And then a ranger approaches. They say, "I'm sorry, but camping isn't permitted here. That'll be a $250 fine." Your perfect getaway just turned into a really expensive mistake. But here's the good news. With just a few minutes of preparation, you can avoid this scenario entirely. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to stay on the right side of the law while enjoying the wilderness that you love. Hey, welcome back to Solstice Trail. I'm Drew, and whether you're a seasoned backpacker, overlander, car camper, or just weekend warrior, understanding the legal side of wilderness exploration isn't just smart, it's essential. The wilderness offers us incredible freedom, but with that freedom comes responsibility. From permit requirements to burn bans and also fire regulations. Today we're going to cover everything in between that and also give you all the info you need to know to camp legally as well as responsibly. By the end of this video today, you'll have knowledge to confidently plan your next adventure without worrying much about unexpected fines or legal issues. You'll also be doing your part to preserve these amazing places for future generations by following the rules and planning ahead. A quick disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. If you have any questions detailing the specifics around certain areas or legal ramifications of your actions out in the wilderness, please consult a lawyer. So let's dive into 7 key legal considerations that every wilderness camper needs to know about. First, let's talk about respecting public lands. Most wilderness areas that you'll explore are managed by different government agencies, each with their own unique rule set. National parks, national forests, Bureau of Land Management or BLM, state parks, and wildlife management areas all operate under very different regulations. What's perfectly legal in one area might earn you a citation just a few miles away. For example, dispersed camping is widely permitted on most national forest and BLM lands, but strictly controlled or even prohibited in many national parks. Some areas allow 14-day stays, while others limit you to only a few days. Always research the specific rules for your destination before you go. Most land management agencies maintain updated websites with current regulations, or you can just call ranger stations directly. This single step, identifying who manages the land and what their rules are, will help you avoid most legal issues right from the start. Next up, permits and permissions. Many popular wilderness areas require permits for overnight stays, and getting caught without one can really result in significant fines. These permit systems provide an important purpose. They help land managers control visitor numbers to prevent overcrowding as well as environmental damage. And some areas use permits to generate revenue for maintenance as well as conservation in the areas. When you're planning your trip, make sure you ask yourself, do I need a permit? This is a pretty basic question that should be in the front of your mind. Also, are there vehicle permits required? Do I need any specific activity-specific permits for fishing, hiking, boating, things like that? And also, how far in advance can I reserve permits? Some highly sought-after wilderness permits for places like Yosemite or the Enchantments or even Havasupai here in Arizona can sell out within minutes of being released, often 6 months ahead of time. So for less popular areas, you might be able to get a walk-up permit or self-register at trailheads, but plan ahead there as well. Always have your permit displayed properly when you get one and carry any required documentation with you. Rangers do check, and the cost of a permit is always less than the cost of a citation. Leave no trace principles aren't just ethical guidelines, they often carry legal weight in wilderness areas. These 7 principles form the foundation of responsible wilderness use. First, plan ahead and prepare, which includes researching regulations as well as obtaining permits. Second, travel and camp on durable surfaces. In many areas, camping on vegetation or creating new campsites is actually illegal, not just discouraged. Third, dispose of your waste properly. Improper waste can violate health codes and environmental regulations, and in many wilderness areas, you are actually legally required to pack out all of your trash and use specific methods for human waste disposal like wag bags or designated cat holes. Fourth, leave what you find. Taking rocks and plants or artifacts from public lands is often considered theft of public property and can result in serious penalties. And the remaining principles: minimize campfire impacts, respect wildlife, and being considerate to others. These all have legal implications that we'll explore next. By following these 7 Leave No Trace principles, you're not just being environmentally responsible, you're also staying compliant with wilderness regulations. So, fire regulations are among the most strictly enforced wilderness laws, and with good reason. One careless campfire can destroy thousands of acres. Before any trip, check the current fire restrictions for your destination. These change seasonally and sometimes daily based on the conditions. And during high fire danger periods, complete bans are very, very common. When fires are permitted, they're often restricted to established fire rings only, specific hours of the day, certain size limitations apply, and limited particular types of fuel as well. Many areas actually require fire permits even when fires are allowed, so keep that in mind. Make sure you always carry a shovel and a few gallons of water for extinguishing your fires, and never leave a fire unattended for any reason. The penalties for violating fire regulations are severe, and fines can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars. If your fire escapes and causes a wildfire, you could face criminal charges and actually be held responsible for suppression costs, which can run into the millions of dollars. A good alternative is carrying a camp stove, which is often permitted even during fire bans and leaves minimal impact on the environment. Wildlife protection laws are designed to keep both you and the animals safe in wilderness areas. First, feeding wildlife is illegal in virtually all wilderness areas. Even seemingly harmless actions like leaving food scraps or approaching animals for photos can result in fines. In places like national parks, feeding wildlife can result in penalties up to $5,000, as well as 6 months imprisonment, which is pretty wild. Most protected areas have specific distance requirements, typically at least 25 yards from most wildlife and 100 yards from predators like bears and wolves. And these aren't suggestions, they're legal requirements with enforceable penalties. Proper food storage isn't just good practice, it's often legally mandated. So many wilderness areas will require things like bear-resistant containers, proper food hanging techniques, and also storing scented items away from sleeping areas. Rangers regularly issue citations for improper food storage, especially in bear country. These regulations protect both wildlife as well as visitors by preventing dangerous human-wildlife conflicts. And remember, wild animals that become habituated to humans often end up being euthanized. Following wildlife laws helps keep them alive and wild. Understanding private property boundaries is crucial for wilderness travelers. Many beautiful areas contain patchworks of public lands and private lands, and trespassing, even accidentally, is a legal issue. Before your trip, it's important to study detailed maps that show land ownership, and many GPS apps and devices now include property boundary data, which is extremely helpful. When in doubt, look for posted signs or fences or markers indicating private land. In some areas, you might need to cross private property to access public lands, and never assume that you have the right to cross private lands just to get to those public lands. Instead, obtain explicit permission from the landowners before you traverse the land. Use only established public access points if available, and respect any conditions that landowners place on access. If you ever encounter a gate blocking what you believe is public access, don't cut logs and bypass barriers. Instead, contact the local land management agency for clarification on legal access routes. Respecting private property rights helps maintain positive relationships between landowners as well as outdoor enthusiasts. And many areas that were once open to public access have been closed because of trespassing issues. All right, here's a big one for overlanders and car campers. Understanding off-road laws is essential. Most public lands now operate under a closed unless marked open policy for motorized traffic. This means vehicles are only permitted on designated routes, which are typically marked on the motor vehicle use maps, or MVUMs. These are available from land management agencies, and many are options in your apps such as Guide GPS or OnX Off-Road. Driving off of these designated routes, even just to go find a campsite, can result in significant fines. And different areas have varying requirements for off-road vehicles. A lot of these include things like required safety equipment for spark arresters, things like that, to prevent field fires, vehicle registration or OHV stickers, noise reductions, special tire requirements even to prevent spreads of invasive species, and many areas also have seasonal closures to protect wildlife during breeding seasons or to prevent damage during wet conditions. Always respect these closures, as violations can result in fines of $5,000 or more. And before heading out, it's always a good idea to download the appropriate MVUMs for your destination and check for any temporary route closures. Staying on legal routes not only keeps you out of trouble, but it also prevents environmental damage and helps keep areas open for responsible users. Understanding these 7 legal aspects of wilderness camping might seem like a lot to remember, but they quickly become second nature with practice. By respecting public lands, obtaining proper permits, following the leave no trace principles, observing fire regulations, protecting wildlife, and respecting property boundaries, and also knowing off-roading laws, you'll ensure your wilderness adventures remain carefree as well as legal. And most importantly, you'll be doing your part to preserve these incredible places for future generations of adventurers. Thanks for watching. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe for more wilderness camping tips. Until next time, adventure legally and tread lightly.